Hi there, and welcome to Module 1 of the Emotional Fluency Bootcamp, here with the Dating with Confidence pack. I'm so excited to be able to present this to you because in these 4 modules, we're going to cover really the most basic skills that will have a huge impact on not only your dating confidence, but your social confidence. And listen, these are things that are incredibly important to understand in your professional life, in your romantic life, in your platonic life. But I really want to give you a warm, warm welcome for being here because it takes a lot of bravery to show up here. And it also takes a lot of bravery to admit I need help with this sort of stuff. We have a lot of expectations, not only on men, but on everyone, that we will understand this stuff, that we will understand how to present ourselves to the world and how to act on a date or how to act in any personal relationship. But they are skills that do require learning, and a lot of us have never been taught. So I know it's something that I struggled with tremendously growing up. And it's something now that I've continuously learnt and studied over decades now. So I'm really excited to be able to share this message for you. And I just want to say that if you are coming here with some anxiety about the course material, or if you feel a bit embarrassed about being here and kind of accessing this stuff, you are far, far, far from alone. Everybody struggles with these kinds of issues, and like I say, it's just so brave that you've turned up and are open about the fact that you need help. Let's name some of those difficult feelings that we might be having at the top here. We can get a lot of negative messages in our head by saying that we need help with dating, or that we might not find romantic relationships or even friendships that easy. I mean, the big one is that there is something inherently wrong with you. You might feel like that there's something that is inside you that you can't fix, that you might be inherently unlovable. There's also the idea that you need to achieve something, which is something we're going to talk about a lot. That's so strong with men. If only I were funnier, if only I earned more money, if only I drove a fancier car or had a better job or lived somewhere. Like, there's a certain line in your head of, once I achieve or get over that line, then I'll be okay. There's also the great myth, which I've spelt, it's such a myth, I've spelt it incorrectly on the slide, that other people find it incredibly easy, that you look around and you go, oh, all my friends are hooking up, or it feels like people naturally have an easygoing banter online, and something is wrong with me because I'm just not getting it. I feel overwhelmed, and I feel like something's wrong with me. We need to start reframing this dialogue. Dating struggles are not struggles that are because of something deep and unlovable and unworthy in you. Dating struggles are struggles that are based in skills, and context based. They are things, that problems we can solve. They're trainings or reframes that we can undertake to really master it. And it's not about manipulating anyone. You know, there's all kinds of awful BSE programs, where you need to pull some trick or some hack to seduce a partner. And really, that's, if it does work, if those situations do work, then it's not an ingredient for a lasting, meaningful connection. But this is the more difficult stuff, but it's the more rewarding stuff. If we can start dealing with these difficult emotions inside ourselves and reframe some of our skills, not so when manipulating anyone, but just so that we can show up confidently and calmly and with social clarity, that's going to be the most attractive thing that we can put forward to bring people into our lives. As I was talking about, so many men struggle with this idea that there's a line in the sand that we need to cross in order to be more attractive. The trouble is that we never quit moving the goalposts. When we were in high school, it was about who was the first one to shave, or who was the first one to get a driver's license, or if you were good on this football team, or how good you did at your grades, right? It's about career wins. It's about some level of attractiveness or some body shape that you feel like is the perfect body shape, or that, if you're a virgin, if I manage to have penetrative sex, then that is the achievement that I know that I've done something really well. And it's a trap. It's a trap and a myth, because it's not based on anything except our own internal judgment. And it's also a trap because we're placing all the responsibility for how we feel on other sources, on getting external validation from other places. And it means that our sense of self-worth goes up and down like a roller coaster, because we can't trust those external sources to always be there for us, and they shouldn't always be there for us. The way to healthier kind of a version of self-worth is to go, my internal sense of self-worth is a baseline. I have a right to feel comfortable in my own skin, and I do feel comfortable in my own skin, full stop, before I even start going anywhere, right? And that's not to say that you need to fix all the internal wounds about yourself before you start dating. Quite the opposite. But you need to try to start to reframe, I'm okay for wanting this. I'm okay for wanting a relationship that is meaningful, that is full of authentic connection, where I feel like I'm fully seen and heard, and all of those things. So, where does this come from? Now, perhaps if we're in a one-on-one coaching session, we can start looking at some of these things specifically, depending on how much you want to explore it. But for a lot of young men, most young men, these early life experiences really dictate how we see the world and how we understand feelings of self-worth and self-esteem. Family, school, peer rejection, it might have all led us to a feeling, an innate feeling of I'm not enough, I need to achieve more. And what's worse is that for men, we're taught not to express that. We are to perform toughness and resilience. And that means that for most of us, we have a fear of being vulnerable, or not even necessarily a fear. We don't understand how to do it. Some of us, most of us, I do, really, really struggle with showing up fully and authentically, because we've been taught for as long as we can remember to not show that it's too dangerous to show that. And what most of us do is that we overcompensate with achievement. We go after things to achieve. We've got to be the biggest guy in the gym, or we've got to earn the most money, or have the most blah, 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 or we avoid as much as possible. And it's worth pointing out that it's also societally, for this generation, we're in such a unique moment, because not only do we have all of that stuff for how men are taught to behave, but it's also important to point out that dating and romance is now completely different from any other point in human history. This generation dating is the first generation to try and make romantic connections in a completely different way to any other generation before. We have choice overload because we are mostly dependent on apps for making connection. It leads to kind of superficial judgments, which can feel as leaving all hurt, but it can also mean that we're left with burnout. We feel paralyzed by the sheer volume of choice. There's a social skills gap developing because we're spending less time talking face-to-face and more time talking to our phone. When we do show up in person on a date, it feels like a bigger event. It feels like there's skills that we're potentially missing or that we don't know how to use. Gender expectations are completely shifting, have shifted. It's been in constant flux, for the better part of a century now, and has only gotten more and more and more so. But one of the biggest changes that men have had to handle, particularly in Gen Z and for millennials, is that emotional literacy is attractive. And emotional literacy for many of us is a skill that most of our fathers didn't have. So is not something that we were modeled because it was not an expectation for them. So we are having to learn it for the first time. And COVID was huge for so many people in Gen Z, just as they were coming into their sexual awakening, just as they were beginning to think about serious romantic relationships. We were in this phase where, for many of us, we felt rusty, we felt awkward, we felt alienated from society, we didn't know how to connect. And this means that this is all way of saying that you're not broken, that all of these messages about what you need to be and what you need to achieve have probably come from external sources. And it means that the skills for thriving in modern dating and having a great time, having an adventure that feels thrilling and beautiful and really interesting, the skills that you need for that are learned, and you can learn them. And this program and the things we'll learn in this bootcamp and with all the materials that are available to you through the course, it's about building those skills and reconnecting to your innate worth, that you feel you can go into that adventure with confidence and enjoyment, not dreading it, but looking forward to it. So as we bring this module to a close, think about what's one message you've told yourself about why dating is hard for you. Try to not answer that question in a way that is about other people. Try not to shift responsibility onto other people. Oh, well, everybody I've met is just superficial, or people are too judgmental, or whatever. Try and make it a statement about you. Is there something you believe about yourself? Do you believe you're not attractive? Do you believe you're not the right body shape? Could be anything. Where do you think that belief started? Where do you think you got into it? And if that message was gone, if you suddenly thought, I'm not broken, nothing's wrong. Lost my mic, incredibly professional. How would I behave in the world? How would you show up differently? Come back for module 2. I'm so excited about module 2 because we're going to go through, there's 3 or 4 very simple tools that you can start with immediately that in any moment will instantly make you calm and cool you down, will go whew, that you can be more focused and more present. And that means that you're going to exude confidence and instantly be more attractive. It's really important that we start to learn how to regulate our feelings, because when we're on dates and we're feeling vulnerable, a lot of feelings are going to come up. And we're going to want to overcompensate. We're going to want to do things where suddenly we're shutting the partner off opposite us, and we don't want to do that. We want to remain open. So we're going to go through some really handy tips that are going to allow you to stay confidently in that space. From this point on, every strategy and truth tool you learn will be built on the idea that you're already worthy. You're worthy of having this great adventure and finding a partner that connects with you and that gives you what you need in a relationship. I'm so looking forward to seeing you in the second module. I'll talk to you then.